Back-to-back for this guy, Money Matt Williamson, Super Dirt Week 49, Matt. Wild race out there. You guys had a long game pit strategy that ended up paying off with all the caution laps. Talk first about how hard it is to adjust one of these cars to make them glide across the ruts like that.
It really just goes to show you how good we build them. That track was a product of what they had to deal with weather-wise. Jeremy Corcoran couldn't have worked harder on it. I think that he should get the MVP for the week, even though the conditions were not, not what everybody wanted. I think he probably might have slept for the 4 hours. You should do an interview with him because he kept working on it, trying to make it better, and really there in the race. When we went out, everybody was mad on pit road. When we went out and we were walking around the racetrack looking at it, we knew we shouldn't be racing, but it didn't race that bad. 1 and 2, you could bounce around a little bit and move around and pass cars. 3 and 4, you just kind of had to be in the middle. It was rough. We'll have to replace the driveline, but I mean, it wasn't as bad as the holes looked on Facebook or on pictures or whatever.
Well, tell us about that. I mean, discipline-wise, discipline is big with a big block modified and all this horsepower anyways, but it's a different kind of discipline this time around, trying to get the line the same every time so that you don't take a bad bounce and get into trouble.
Yeah, in 3 and 4 there, them last 2 laps on that green-white checkered, I didn't think that I hit it as good as I had in the past. So, like you said, you got to be disciplined. The harder I drove in down there, the worse it was, and the slower I drove in, the better it was, which goes back to what I was always taught growing up, slow is fast, and 1 and 2 was just complete opposite. You just had to drive that son of a bitch into the corner and hope she stuck and didn't catch a rut.
Well, let me ask you about this because your rise to the top of dirt modified racing has been pretty meteoric. I mean, just a couple of years ago down here at Super Dirt Week, you showed out. I mean, you had a great run in the small block race, and that kind of jump-started all this. You weren't necessarily unknown before that. You were, a fantastic runner at Lernerville. But now you're the king of the hill. This race 2 years in a row, you won $100,000 at Orange County, 2 years ago, and just I mean, what is all this like for you?
It's still we're just Matt Williamson. I ain't no king of the hill. I ain't the best. Matt Shepard's won more championships than I can count one hand. Billy Decker's won more of these races than I can count one hand. I mean, them 2 guys that finished behind me are amazing race car drivers and Hall of Famers. Just to be able to win this one twice is very humbling. I said it to somebody earlier that I've watched a lot of people win this race that were my heroes, and to do it now is pretty cool. We'll take it. We'll embrace it, and we'll try and build back better and try and go to Charlotte and maybe move up a few points positions. Obviously, Matt had a good run, so I don't think that we'll be in the contention for the win, but we'll try and be right there with them.
Well, last thing, now that you've seen what is possible and that you guys have proved it to yourselves over and over and over again, you're still such a young guy. What are your expectations? What are some of the things that you want to do? And don't tell me we take it 1 week at a time. Tell me some of the things that you got in mind for the future.
We haven't won the small block race here. That's on the bucket list. We had a hell of a run last night in the Wentz Propane number 6. We were close. We weren't right there, and that's obviously the next on the chapter. And then maybe when Stewart retires, we can win the Fonda 200. But until then, we'll just try and win a few races. We didn't have a great year this year until about Tuesday night at Brewerton. Things kind of turned around. We won a couple Weed Sport races, but I mean, Buzz deserved this. He's been in racing for a lot more years than I've been alive, and the guys that he has, and how much time he's invested and money he's invested in racing, he really deserves this success. And this one's really for him. Him and the guys, they work hard. So all my guys, I got to thank them, and I'm the lucky one that gets to drive this car.
Well, Matt Williamson says we're still just Matt Williamson, but as far as tonight goes, Matt Williamson is the king of the hill at Oswego.